Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
We gone.
We gone.
We're definitely gone.
We are very gone. And it's another week. We are back. And special week because we got another special guest on the show right now.
Yeah, indeed. Peace, peace.
Indeed. Reggie Bennett, man. Wow.
What's going on, world?
When it comes to multi-talented people, you definitely set the bar very high.
Thank you, my
And,
good brother.
It's a pleasure to know you, man. And just on top of being a good artist, you're just a good person and a beautiful human being. And so,
that's the most important part.
Yeah. Make a black man blush up in here. I feel the same way about you, man. It's a pleasure to be in the room. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So we were just talking about drones that, look like flies. So I just want to keep an organic conversation going that we were just having in the room, but we were talking about all these futuristic things, and Reggie brought up this point that they have drones that actually look like flies on the wall right now.
It's true. This is true. It's really scary. It's crazy.
Damn.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, it's a little wild, man. I know someone who's seen them.
You know someone that saw it and witnessed this
With their own eyes.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Make sure the Illuminati's not watching right now.
Actually, it's a little bit too late now.
Yeah, with the internet, you can't hide anything.
Yeah,
Because the internet's a great excuse. We're like, yo, how did you find out about that? On the internet. Everyone knows. What are you talking about?
That is true. You could definitely use the internet as excuse.
Yo, because, so people put everything up and it looks, it just looks extreme, but it's kind of not. You know what I'm saying? Like, the things that we used to think, that's not really true. Or like you were saying, like, that's just a movie. Like, nah.
Right, exactly.
There's probably more truth to it than what we...
And the more and more articles that come out about these things, especially AI, artificial intelligence, it's just like, wow, these movies are not that far away.
Yeah.
And if not me, for certain, my kids are gonna see it.
Right.
And it's like, it's actually gonna have to be an issue that they're gonna have to deal with, like, one day.
Yeah, imagine.
It's like something like dealing with robots amongst society.
Right.
And it's like Will Smith, like...
When you think about, like, all the automation, right? Like, everybody's, all these issues with jobs and things. Like,
that's the biggest thing that's gonna happen. And Bill Gates, he came out and he's really concerned.
Because the population is just not, it's not gonna stop, it's gonna grow.
And the problem is when we're rooted in capitalism, which is good because it creates competition and stuff like that, but at the same time, capitalism, also thrives off of greed, has its flaws. But the problem is, it's like when it's all based off of competition and you just have machines conquering the competition, it's like, where are we going to draw the line?
Right.
Like, where does socialism and capitalism come in to meet, and where do you have that, like, happy medium? And that shit...
Have you heard of universal
politically,
basic income?
Huh?
Universal basic income? You heard of that theory? Where they just give citizens... I think you got to be like 18 or something like that. This is a theory. They give you an income, a yearly income, so they give you whatever it is, like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a year. The government supplies it for you, so you could have somewhere over a roof over your head and some food, basically. That's
where's this at?
Not happening.
Where's it?
It's a theory. It's a theory. Universal basic income.
Shit, they could probably pull that shit off right now. Just stop paying for defense and war and all that.
Yo, shit, now after this tax budget they just passed, now after the tax bill they just passed, man, it's like, yo, it seems like that probably ain't the program they on.
Look, basic income to answer automation because of jobs there's not gonna, like, a lot of jobs are gonna be gone.
Yeah.
So that's just the theory. That's just thought. And I originally heard on Joe Rogan's podcast. Yeah. And he immediately, I think Eddie Wong was the one that brought it up to him on the show, and he immediately was like, nah, fuck that, like, nah, like, he didn't agree with it. And then he came back on another podcast and he was like kind of warming up to the fact.
I didn't know how smart that kid was.
That's what I would think. Like, like you're saying, it just becomes so necessary because you've taken everyone's ability to work away.
Right, exactly. So even if you're willing, it's like, what the fuck?
You're just gonna create this dystopian future. Like, that's what a lot of people are predicting. Like, it's gonna be like, it really is gonna turn into the fucking movies eventually. It's just like,
because the population is just not gonna stop unless there's some kind of natural disaster or something. Right. Everyone's gonna keep fucking, like.
Unless they create some shit to, like, cut down some numbers. You know what I'm saying? Yo.
Population controls a bitch.
Yo, it is. It's a real thing. But I think about the way it's affecting us now, even with, businesses, like brick and mortars that are closing. Right. And losing to all the online services and stuff. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like I walked into Best Buy yesterday. I hadn't been in a Best Buy in a long time, but somebody was like, "Yo, I just really didn't even know they were still around." But then somebody was like, "Yo, like they'll take your recycled electronics.
Wow.
Like they recycle electronics."
I know
And
that.
so I was like, "Oh, that's dope." Like I've been concerned about my footprint and all that, so I was like, "Okay, let me go check them out." So. I wanted to support them. I really did. I walked in there and really wanted to support them. You know what I mean? I brought some wires and shit, recycled it. I was like, okay, now let me buy something. The same shit that you can get online. I won't say the spot. We all know who it is.
Right. Amazon.
Yeah, 3 times the amount in Best Buy. I was like, damn, I don't give a fuck.
Wait, it was way more money in store than it was online.
It's crazy, man.
Crazy, B. Crazy.
And this ain't I don't know if this is who you're referring to, but it might have been. Isn't Amazon opening some like huge plant now in New Jersey or something like that?
I think
they're down to like the finalists and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they're still like trying to pick.
Yeah, I think they
one.
are in multiple states. They're gonna big city areas,
Texas, I think.
ports, and
Yeah, I
stuff
think
like
they're doing
that.
like their last 20,
yeah,
right?
they're
20
gonna,
cities.
Yeah, they're gonna do that because it's easier.
You
for
just
them.
can't compete.
And then
And you saw where they got the cashless stores up in Seattle.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
They got that already. You
Yeah.
know that. The drone. I was in Texas last year, and I heard some shit flying overhead. They got the shit that drops your package off on a drone.
Yeah.
That's nuts, man.
I was in Best Buy like 2-3 weeks ago. Actually, I was looking for like a connector because I bought the Sega Genesis, like the old school one.
Yeah.
No, you
And-
didn't.
Yeah,
You do not.
I had to. Yeah, and then
Alta Beast.
and then they didn't have the thing I was looking for, and I was like sitting right there on my phone in Best Buy looking it up, and I'm just like, all right, ordered that shit right on my phone in Best Buy.
Fucked up.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Yeah.
It's crazy.
But and then I was walking out, and then I was like, I gotta
No
see
loyalty.
if they still have CDs. And then I saw Eminem on the rack. I was like, damn, he's still doing good.
Yeah,
They're still
yeah,
printing
yeah.
your album.
Yeah.
It's good to see.
I saw Eminem vinyl in Best Buy the other day.
Well,
That's
that's
pretty
cool. That's more like a.
That's cool.
Yeah, nostalgia.
How much were they selling it
Yeah.
for?
I didn't even look. It's probably like $50.
Okay, right.
There's a
Curious.
venue in Brooklyn
Printing.
called Rough Trade. That is a really dope venue. They have a whole bunch of vinyl. They have vinyl selections everywhere.
Yeah.
Like they have all new albums. Like they had the Damn album when I was there.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Kendrick
yeah.
one
Yeah.
in vinyl. So they had like all new albums of vinyl and shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, pretty sure they got old vinyl too. But it was a really dope venue.
It is a market for it, for sure. Like I just picked up a turntable, little Audio Technica, little joint.
Oh, you
And-
did? Cool.
And like you don't need them to cut on anymore because
Right.
everybody cuts on the other, the digital tables and
Yeah.
make it so you can plug into your computer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Kind of nice.
You guys see Kendrick in the halftime of the college championship?
I heard that was taped.
Nah.
Oh, it was taped?
I heard that was taped.
I saw it was good. I hate when people are like, he did a good job, and then people are like, oh, he was lip syncing. I was like, do you people not know like he can't do the hook and do the verse? Like just stupid like little shit like
You
that.
can
bothers me.
really easily tell when people are lip syncing.
Oh, it was easy to tell he wasn't, and
Yeah.
he was doing a great job.
Exactly, because you hear his breath. You hear him like that when he's.
What did he perform?
He performed like all new shit.
Yeah.
Damn,
Everything off the
Damn
damn,
album.
Yeah.
everything off the damn, which is cool.
But
Means
I
he's
really like
promoting.
that album. That damn album.
Nah, I liked it.
That was a
too.
really good album.
Beautiful.
I like
Like
that
it.
better than To Pimp a Butterfly.
Musically, I
Yeah.
like Butterfly better. I thought like,
Like sonically.
I thought musically it was just like 70s soul. Like for me,
It
it
was
just
a mix.
it was just gorgeous like that. Like a lot of live instrumentation. I mean, the same thing on the new record, but
Damn.
yeah, man.
Yo, but also I want to get into so Reggie. When I'm talking about multi-talented, my man, he's got bars. Like he raps, he's a beast with that. But he does opera, and I'm talking like. Have you ever met anyone that does exactly what you do as far as rapping and doing opera?
Can't
No
say I
one,
did,
right?
Yo, and that's on the humble too, man. Like, nah, not exactly. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, yo, the closest that I saw like to what I do is like Hamilton. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yo, when I saw Hamilton, I immediately thought of you, and I was like,
yo, that shit
Yo.
was sick when I saw that. Yo, cause
Reggie needs to get on.
we was in every label, and they were like, yo, he's dope. He can rap and he can sing, but I don't get how it goes together. Nobody could.
Did you
understand
see it? Did you see Hamilton?
I didn't see it, but I auditioned for it. I stood out in that line.
Wow.
Oh, did you?
For 4 hours last year, whatever, 2 years ago, whatever it was, to sing for like 30 seconds.
Ah.
And I didn't get a call back.
Right,
And I'm like, charges to the game, obviously.
Did you sing and rap?
No. I just tried to go in there like,
Bro, I felt like if they saw you do that, they might have like, I mean, whatever. Who knows who was
Hindsight is
casting it?
2020. You never know.
Right. But the dudes that they picked to do it, you know, they did a great job. I forget what his name is. Something Diggs was like one of the main dudes that was really putting down most of the verses. Yeah. And I was like, bro, it's a genius. It's a genius.
Love the show. I think it's just, I just think it's incredibly insightful. I think if you could take a line in a Mobb Deep record, I'm only 19, my mind is old. Yeah. And you base a whole musical off that line. You know what I'm saying? You got people singing. You know, I've heard all these people who don't know who Mobb Deep is at all, singing that line.
Bro, the craziest part is when you go to see it, the majority of the crowd is like 50-year-old white people.
Right.
And it's just like, I'm like, I know you guys like theater, but but they enjoyed it. They loved it. Loved it. And in my head, I'm like, are you hearing everything that's going on though?
But they don't.
I
mean, you don't hear everything that you can't process all of an art. You know what I mean? Especially if you don't come from that art.
Bro, that was one of the most one of the most mind fucked times I've been after like listening to something. Like that was up there with like after hearing Illmatic for the first time.
Is that right?
Like mind fucked.
Yeah.
Just because the way that he was able to take history and also make it, he had like a lot of nuances and a lot of bars that he would stress and pronounce because it's so fucking relevant to today.
Right.
You know? And like he would like say something like, or it would be something about immigrants, and it would be like or it would be something that was ironic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the way that we are today and the way it was back then. And it was just like, wow, this is fascinating.
Yeah. And I'm sure like he sees like his story coming to life in a way that he might not have expected. You know what I'm saying? Like because of the way things are right now.
Yeah.
And you know he wrote that when Obama was still president. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I would imagine that must be an ill feeling to him to see like
and Hamilton's story himself is crazy because I think he was born in like the Virgin Islands or something like that, and then you know, just really came afar, like was the definition of that American dream and an immigrant coming to New York and making a name for himself. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with history though. So.
Yeah, much different times, right? But you know, it was crazy.
Yeah, I think he's prolific, man. I think, you know, that show and I don't think it'll be the last one. I think it's going to spawn a lot of other innovators like that. You know what I mean? I think it was like a gateway show,
especially after the success.
Yeah. I mean, one of the most successful shows ever, right?
It was super successful.
Being in the circles that you're in, have you like heard any people trying to emulate it or?
Yeah, I heard of some. Yeah. First off, it wasn't the first time I had heard it, like that, you know what I'm saying? So I remember auditioning for a Shakespearean play that was set to rap out of this dude out of Hawaii. You know, and he freaked it. He freaked it first. Like this was the first time I had seen it like that.
Right.
And so it's not new. And the music I was making was like derived from like art song, which is like Schubert, Schumann, Wolf, like that. It came out of like a German tradition, and then there's of course this French art song and English art song. So I was merging like art song with hip hop, and I thought it's gonna be a while before anybody does some shit like that. And then it wasn't.
And then Hamilton.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
But first it was the Hov and Kanye record, Ham. It was the Ham record first.
Right.
That had me like, oh man.
I remember you did tell me that. Yeah.
Yo, I was struggling when I heard that record. That shit hurt my feelings. I was like, oh
man.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of parallels though between opera and hip hop, and I think
I was about to ask that. Like, how did that come about?
Man, like, you know,
for you,
for me, man, like they always kind of went together. I always, you know, I grew up on hip hop, of course, and always, you know, that was kind of a first love between that and like jazz records and soul records. But along the way, when I was a kid, you know, I started taking voice lessons and singing in choirs and things like this, and just I wanted to combine them. I wanted to know what that felt like. When I was, you know, real young, I would practice. I would mess around singing like Onyx records, like Slam and stuff like this with my homeboys in high school, and I didn't want them to think that I was serious about it. But I was serious about it. You know what I mean? So I'd be like, Slam, da da da. I would do stuff like trying in a Sinatra voice and like play around, and they would laugh, but they thought it was all right. And so
you were trying to get like a temperature gauge. Like, fuck with this, or they just like laughing.
And it was all right. And then in college, what really did it for me, man, I was in Paris, and I was at the Picasso Museum in Paris.
Oh, that's dope.
You been out there?
No, I wouldn't.
Yo, he has these huge canvases, like wall length, wall height canvases, and he was just doing whatever the fuck he wanted. He just take a paintbrush and just dip that shit and just go straight across, paint dripping, nothing like beautiful in the traditional sense about that. And then you would look at another corner, it would have his blue period, and you would look at another corner, it would have some like cubism. And I was like, yo, he just did whatever he wanted. Like, I can do that too. You know what I'm saying? It was like he gave me permission. And so I just went back to Boston. That's when I was in school up in Boston. It was just like, yo, let's try it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it was to me, and it grew. I think both of them are about storytelling, and they're about perspective, and they're about, you know, how different people communicate in different ways. And, you know, I just saw a lot of ways to make it work.
That's really cool.
Thanks, man. So, you know.
Where were you raised?
Beacon, New York.
Beacon?
Yeah, not too far from here. Yeah.
So it's actually where I was born at.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Got a nice car ride one day.
Or
Yeah.
What year did you go to high school?
I graduated in 98.
Okay.
Yeah.
I graduated in 97.
Yeah, where'd you grow up?
Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
I'm Nomad, by the way, brother.
Peace, brother. I'm Reggie.
Reggie.
Oh yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Shout out to Nomad just walking in the building.
Yeah. Pardon me, y'all. Traffic is a
Did it on a
motherfucker.
sneak tip.
Yeah, these early hours, the traffic is a little wild out there.
Yeah.
But I'm here.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bro. You know.
Welcome back, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man.
It's been
Thank
a while,
you, man.
right?
Well,
Since all
last
of us?
week, I slept through. I'm like, all right, let me get ready for the podcast. Next thing you know, I woke up at like 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how that shit happened, but I just crashed, son. You know what I mean? Like,
one time I woke up at like 7. And I was like, holy shit, I'm late. And I completely forgot that we do the podcast at 8:30 normally.
Yeah.
And I got here at 7:30. And I was like, I called Ken. I was like, yo, where you guys at? He's like, yo, like we're doing it in like an hour. I'm like, oh shit. I forgot. So that shit just happens.
Hence the Gawncast.
Yeah. Facts though.
Yeah.
But damn. So, when did you start listening to opera?
Like when I was 15, 16. I didn't really listen to it before I started singing it. You know what I mean? Like, I had sang. A friend of mine had heard me singing one day. A friend of mine was in the choir, and one day we were like 15, 16, 15. And we had jobs I had a job as a junior custodian over the summer. So he's scraping gum and shit off the stairs in the middle of the summer, and it's hot as hell, and the radio's on, and Michael Jackson's on, and I'm singing to Michael Jackson. And he said, yo, you can really sing, man. Join the chorus. I was like, nah, I ain't joining the chorus. They sing whack music. I'm not doing that. And he told me, yo, we go on trips. And he started telling me where they go to, and the shit they was doing on these trips, and the little shorties on the trip.
I knew the girls were
That's always a factor.
Yeah.
And so, I was like, all right, I'm going to try it. And like 3 days in, it was definitely within the first week, I just really fell in love with that sound. And it was, I still can't really explain why that happened. It was just, sometimes it just chooses you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of how it was. And like immediately I fell in love with it. And I sang for the few people who put me on to this woman who became my voice teacher. And really shaped me, taught me everything I knew. Wow. And then, just help guide me from there. And then after that, it was just, it was kind of on after that.
That's what's up. You also brought up something that made me think of something like doing opera and stuff, and just the way that you be able to flex your voice. Have you ever done any like Sinatra records or like? Because I mean, I know it's very different, but at the same time, like your range, you could probably pull some of that off.
I really haven't yet, but I want to. Yo, Sinatra was. His phrasing, man, the way he would.
People say that
he says something. You know what I mean?
I guess that I hear that from a lot of people that have big Sinatra heads. Like,
My mother loves Frank Sinatra.
I don't understand. I love Frank too. Man.
We play him a lot
Frank.
in the office. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I would love to do some Frank records, and you got to be at a certain level to mess
Frank
with that.
feels like New York. I think that's another thing to me.
Yes,
like
it's
I don't
like
know, something about like Frank to me. Like I feel like I'm in New York.
New York,
yeah.
right? It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like that on top of New York City, and not even today's New York. That old dirty Twin Towers, New York, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just has like that feeling that everything he's,
Yo, recently I had done a mixtape for somebody, and there was a section of the mixtape where it was about the radio in the 70s, and we were listening to Frankie Crocker and WBLS, and like, yo, on BLS they used to play New York, New York. Like that was just that was the sound of New York. You know what I mean? and you wouldn't associate that with BLS these days. You know what I mean? Like Soul Station, but like he was really the sound of New York.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
I mean, would that be like I mean, if there's one song that you could say is like the soundtrack to New, not the hip hop shit, but for everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
All genres.
That starts spreading the new. That shit, for some reason, like that sound is like.
Yeah.
What year did he do that song?
Yeah, what year was that?
I gotta look that up.
That's great.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic and stuff, I actually saw this crazy interview this week. It's interviewed this guy called Michael Francesi, and he was
I saw that too.
You saw it? He was
an hour long?
Yeah, I shared it with you.
Did you?
You click it in the link? Yeah, in the group chat.
Did you?
Yeah.
I swear to you.
Gone.
Yo,
I'm posting in the thread here on the podcast, but
he's sitting down with one guy, right?
Yeah, he's sitting down with one guy. He's talking about his experiences, talking about Gotti, talking about all the people he rubbed shoulders with, and how he worked for the Five Families and
the Michael Jordan shit. Did you?
I've heard that.
Is it the mob boss guy?
Yes. Yeah.
You sent that. Did you send it to me? Because I saw that today. I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, he was pulling in $6 to $8 million a week.
Yeah.
$6 to $8 million.
He was actually a lot wealthier than Gotti and most people, but he just wasn't as like. Actually, he was high profile as fuck. Like Giuliani tried to put him under a couple times and he got acquitted, but he did do some time for some other things.
Yo,
but he has an hour long, and it's just like you could just tell this dude is just.
He's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's real. And he left the life. And like he's like he had to move out to Cali and revamp his whole life.
Yeah.
And he's like, he talks about it. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
The guy asked him about the thing was the Michael Jordan shit. Was like he was like Stern told him to like
well, that's another big theory. I don't know if you guys I listened to a whole
debts and shit.
Bro, there's an hour podcast just on that I can send you.
That was very interesting, even though they spoke on it for like 2 minutes at max.
It's about Michael Jordan's father dying and whether it was over gambling debts that he owed or not.
Yeah, you've heard about that.
Yeah.
Kind of over
I remember when that shit was.
And they were like, is that why he left basketball for a year to make shit cool down and then like come back? And then like, because everyone knows he's a crazy gambler.
Right.
It's believable. It's completely believable.
I heard he plays like $100,000 a hole.
Yeah.
Bro, he's nuts.
In golf. That's
I wouldn't doubt it.
They all have their own. I work with guys that have caddied for him. Like they all have their own golf carts. They're all tricked out.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wait.
He drinks this. All right, there's one guy that caddied for him in Florida. He's like he brings out this $1,000 bottle of vodka or some shit, and he drinks it neat the whole round. And
Jordan?
Then, and then he leaves the bottle in the car, and like the bottle itself is worth like $400.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy, yo.
Like it's been
Yo, Jordan looked like he be leaning though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be all red and shit.
Hell yeah.
The life of a billionaire.
Yo.
He's washed up. Yeah.
Yo, man. Yeah.
So, and now his team's doing good though. The Hornets, they looking pretty good. I like Kemba Walker a lot.
Yeah, he's on the trade block.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. He said he wouldn't trade him except for
Except for an All-Star
or something like that. Yeah.
But yo, going back to the New
like
York thing, did you? And I didn't even know this fact that Martin Scorsese did a film called New York, so that was the theme song to it. I didn't know that.
Really?
Wow. And Liza Minnelli sang it at one point, so like it immediately was captured in New York's mind. You know what I mean? So it's not an accident that we associate Frank
Yankees
Sinatra
played it after every championship, right?
That song is just New York.
Yeah.
It is.
Like,
No, it is.
And it just the sound of it, the instrument. Even if it just the instrument was playing, just that sound is like that.
Yeah, those trumpets.
That right at that sun's that 9 o'clock, 9:30 summer night type. You know what I mean? Like that shit just feels like New York, man. That Central Park horse and carriage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely, man.
Yellow metal cabs.
Yeah, you know.
All that shit.
Damn. So what you working on now, man? Where's it like? Where's your mind at, and where's your music at?
Man, I'm working on this album that I've been working on for a long time. It's called Art Rap. And just taking this classical idea and this hip hop idea and just spreading it around a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that release finally coming. It's been years in the making, man. And it's like on some D'Angelo shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna finally let it go. you know, I'm doing that. I'm working on some classical projects, some like straight classical recitals.
Right.
Because you know that's kind of, you know, where things are headed for me these days.
Yeah.
Just to be, you know, tip top. I'm coming for like these guys, these pop classical dudes. I'm coming for them, man. You know what I mean? I want Josh Groban's spot. I want Michael Bublé's spot. I want Andrea Bocelli's spot. Yeah, I want that. And you know, I think there's a lane for it now. I think there's a place where, you know, as we become older, my peers and stuff become older, like, you know, they want to hear something different. You know what I'm saying, too? And I think there's, you know, I think there's a lane for it, man. So I'm doing that, and I produced several jazz records last year that'll come out this year. And man, it's, you know, those things, man, those things.
Damn,
so
that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's awesome that you have such like diversity. Because you think about it, like a lot of people don't. If you make music, you're really sticking into like one genre. Remember when like Wayne was coming out with a rock album?
Right.
Rock album?
Right. It's hard, man.
Frank wasn't fucking with that one.
No, but a lot. But you know how people.
But if he had really learned how to play the guitar,
I'm not
I think
saying
people would
I haven't
accept
even
it.
heard
Yo,
that.
he would learn how to play a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't even try. He didn't even try.
I'm not even. I haven't heard.
That shit was
the album could
disrespectful
be.
to everyone.
The album could be good or whatever. Like, but it, you know, come on. That's like fucking Tom Brady going or Michael Jordan going to play baseball.
No, it's like it's
You know
like
what I
Bo
mean?
Jackson.
Like, come
It's
on.
like Deion Sanders. Remember how much hate Deion
When
Sanders
people,
got?
Yeah, when people. Well, Deion Sanders was good.
But that's the thing, and he still got hate. He got a lot of fucking.
But when
hate.
you that hot though,
When people know you, it's,
like the
it's
30
weird.
for 30 on that was crazy. I think it was 30.
Oh yeah.
When
Bo
people
Jackson.
know you for one thing, like it's like I know Will Ferrell for being fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So I look at Will Ferrell and like this guy's like I just laugh when I look at him. But you wouldn't expect it. You see him in a drama or something and be like, he kind of would throw you off a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I mean? There's not a lot of people that can cross genres.
Yo, it hasn't been easy. I'll tell you that. You know what I'm saying? I think it hasn't been easy at all because people don't know what to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like people, you know, I mean, you kind of have to assume that people know what both influences are beforehand. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know that. All right, I'm using like some famous drum loop over this crazy, this crazy piano line, like, and that in itself is dope. Like, you know, you'd have to kind of come from there, and then you know this combination of a classical voiceover.
Yeah.
Yo, it's not something it takes people a little while. It's like sometimes I can see people thinking, and that's been part of what I've been trying to work against, is try to create music where you don't have to really think as much anymore.
I think time's gonna develop that audience for you because I think like I don't know, just the way the roots are so, like I don't know, like like when I see you, I'm like, damn, you gotta get with the roots somehow, something like that. Just because the people that like that music would appreciate you.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's hard to sit in a label meeting and look at Black Thought and, you know, be like, yo, who's your target audience? I don't know what he would say.
Right. Even at the height of their shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I agree with you.
So I think that's a hard thing to put a finger on, especially, you know, when everything is so boxed in now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as much as everything's boxed in, there's these new things, exactly like Hamilton and exactly like...
Yes, it's the market, man. It's the market.
It's just, I feel like time is growing and it's developing that audience. So
from your mouth to God's ears, brother.
I think it's happening, man. I think it's happening. Yeah. So, you know, may you fill that void. So,
man, it's an interesting time in music, period, right now, especially with like hip hop and with all the directions that people are going, and then the lanes and the avenues, man. It's a lane to be made for everybody right now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's more like a reemergence of whatever was going on in the 90s, because I just remember really that time where it was no like I feel like maybe 3 or 4 years ago there was kind of like this one way of things, and right now it's so vast. You know what I'm saying? And it just reminds me of that time where it was even just on the radio, it was just like so many different things. Yeah. But now the music may not be so different, but it's so many lanes in the genre for music.
Right.
And for, you know what I'm saying? And for creativity, like almost any kind of mashup or like any kind of creative.
Yo, that's
like,
a great
you know what
point.
I'm saying?
I think
it would be accepted right now.
I was listening to Bill Burr and he was talking and he was like mentioning how Dave Chappelle was playing with John Mayer and he was like, Dave Chappelle and John Mayer. And he's like, what is that? So he's like, I call up my guy and I'm like, yo, what is this about?
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, it's just Dave telling jokes, and John Mayer's just kind of riffing in the back, and they throw it all together, they make a show of it. And he's like, I gotta see this shit.
Yeah.
And like he was like, yo, it was incredible. Like Dave would just be saying some shit, telling a joke, and John Mayer would be back there like playing whatever he was talking about. You know what I mean? And he would. Like, it would even be to the point where if he was saying something like about an animal, like he would make animal noise on the guitar. You know, that's something crazy.
It's theater, man. It's like performance art almost, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think it's beautiful. You know, you think about Nas doing Illmatic down in at Kennedy Center with full orchestra that's coming up soon. You know?
Oh, really?
That's crazy.
I did not.
He's doing that live, or he did it and they're gonna play it.
I think he's doing that live.
Where in New York?
No. Washington.
In Washington. Wow, that shit is gonna be nasty.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That shit is gonna be nasty. Them beats?
Yeah, that's the shit that inspires me.
I think they're gonna throw it on like PBS or something like that on the February 2nd.
Okay.
Wow.
I gotta look it up.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's exciting, man. Yeah, I think y'all are right. I think it's so much has been done already.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's either time to like revisit some of those ideas, and just in a current version, or you can. Everybody's kind of liberated. You can just try whatever you want to try.
I think you can.
Yeah.
I think you can, especially with YouTube and just YouTube being out for long enough now. Enough people have tried a lot of shit. So I think.
Yeah, and all the other platforms. I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, that's my experience, Nomad, is that, like, because you have Spotify and Tidal and all these platforms that artists can just get their music out. And now, really, the control of listening to whatever you want is back in the consumer's hands. You know what I mean? Because the old gatekeepers with radio and TV, they became so stringent that, you only got, 3 or 4 artists, listen to the same thing over and over again. Of course, the radio is completely caved in on itself.
I mean, even the Cartoon Network, man, you're gonna hear MF Doom on that shit all day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't hear Doom on the radio, or you don't hear him on your Spotify, you definitely gonna hear Doom.
He has such a cult. He has such a following.
Right, and not only him. I mean, it's just so many lanes for everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even for
Really
producers,
is.
just like
There
it's
really
like
is, though.
Because I mean, when I speak, I just mean in like the realm of hip hop in the extent, in the sub genres of hip hop music and just music in general,
but
and art, the culture.
Yeah, of course. Any kind of entertainment is a lane for it. People fucking get paid to vlog, dude. That dude Casey Neistat, whatever his name is, dude, all he does is like vlog his daily life. I mean, the guy's fucking rich, so obviously it's interesting. But he like takes flights and he does like reviews of like Emirates Air or something.
Is that right?
You know what I mean?
Dude,
like flight to Dubai, he does like the first class review of. So you get.
But something like that
so
is like cool. Pissing me off because he's not coming from any talent or really art. Like he's smart at marketing.
Well,
I guess you could.
That's the thing now. It's like you have all these people that are famous. Like we kind of touched on last week.
Right.
You have people that are famous.
He's got to have some kind of talent though, because people have been.
He doesn't have no talent.
People have been paying attention to him though. You know what I mean?
But compared to Reggie, I mean, like
Well, I'm not comparing it to. I'm not comparing it to.
But I'm just saying.
That there's a lane for. There really is a lane for everything because everyone is able to view everything at one time. So you could be looking at what Reggie does with music, or what Casey does with vlogging, or what these people like. Everything's on the table. Everyone, you could look at anything. Do you know what I mean? At any given time, you can find anything.
Yeah, and I think it's like kind of like voyeur culture. You know what I'm saying? Like we kind of became like through all these social media, apps and access to other people's lives. You can just peek in, and they don't really have to know you're there.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You can just—it's like peep show all day. You know what I'm saying?
It's probably somebody watching right now.
Yeah.
That you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just peeping. You won't even, won't tell you that they on, and they're just checking it out, and they enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's
another thing. It's like I gotta remind myself too. It's like I got this many likes, I got this many comments, but it's like, yo, more people are watching though. And they just don't say shit.
That's how I get down. Yo, when I'm on, because I don't really get on that much. When I'm on, I'm like, let me see what's going on over here. And I just be like a troll on a low. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I never forget the day one of my homeboys. They tell you, yo, I saw you online or whatever, but my boy actually talked to. He said, yo, man, I love the podcast, and this is why, because you do this. And then your man, he's that guy on the show. And I'm like, damn, you really watch this shit.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I had no idea that he was watching it. You know what I'm saying? Like, not like that. He may tell you, yeah, I saw you on some video. but you really watching the show.
Yeah.
People tell me all the time, like I watch this shit. Like I don't catch it live, but I'll watch it
Right.
after the
I
fact.
hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot too.
That's the biggest thing, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, just having access. You know what I mean? That's just
Crazy.
kind of whenever you want it. You know what I mean? Like. I think
So,
that's-
pardon me. When you say you produced a jazz album, you mean like instrumentally?
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
What do you play? What do you do?
Well, I don't really play. I mean, I play a little piano.
I know what you mean.
But I was working with an artist named Roswell Rudd, who passed away actually in December. And Ros was an extraordinary, legendary trombonist, and he came out of the free jazz era, and he cut his teeth on records with like Archie Shepp and like other artists who made this free jazz. You know, they would call it avant-garde music and things like the New York Modern Quartet and things like this. Really groundbreaking, cutting-edge stuff. And Ros was always, when I met Ros, it was about 8 years ago, and we performed on a Central Park gig together. And he was just open to what I was doing. He didn't blink when I said opera and hip-hop. He didn't even think that was, anything really off about that. And, so him being so open really allowed me a chance to kind of experiment and work. And so Ros, I had gotten a call a few years ago that Ros wanted to work on some new music, and he was battling cancer, and he wanted to get to work. And I always felt like there was some records that Ros hadn't done yet that I wanted to hear him do. Right. You know what I mean? I wanted to hear him do like hip hop jazz records. You know what I mean? And I wanted to hear him do records that he speaks in, and I just wanted to hear some other things. And so we just got to work, man. And I work with a real good team, like a real good production team. I mean, I do a lot of work myself, but on this particular project, I was able to work with a lot of class artists. And we kind of did this one particular song that I'm really proud of. It's called Keep On Steppin'. I envisioned it being like the symphony on jazz, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, like the Marley Marl symphony.
Oh yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And so that was the approach. And then I also had another thought in mind that, like, Miles Davis at the end of his career, he had done the doo-wop album, and he had done that with Easy Mo B. And I knew that I had a chance to be Mo B, maybe. You know what I'm saying? I think this might be my chance to, like, give Ros records that he never had, like Mo B gave Miles records that he didn't really have. Right. And so that's kind of what I set out to do, man. And these records are beautiful, man. I'm really proud of them. And it was gorgeous. Just world-class musicians on these records.
Where can we find this music?
It'll be out later on this year. It's not out yet.
Okay.
So, yeah. But great records. And Ros was the consummate artist, the consummate teacher, the consummate gentleman. He would, everything is all newfangled these days with all the technology we always talking about. When I would go to work with him, he would take out manuscript paper and break out a ruler to make his measure marks and make his ledger lines. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of technicians who in today's world, is a rarity. You know what I mean? I really learned, from him, man. He just played and played and played. He and his wife would play music for each other every day, and I saw them bond with each other as he was dealing with fighting cancer, and they sang to each other and wrote songs about each other and wrote songs about the experience. And man, it was just, I never saw anybody address life the way they addressed it through the art, and it was just beautiful. So so the music reflects that.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm proud of it.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You saw where Hugh Masekela passed away?
Yeah, man.
That was pretty heavy.
Yeah.
My dad was playing Hugh a lot when I was a kid and stuff like that. Just heard him on like Afro-Cuban jazz and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and then for him to also be, a political activist and just be, a conscious artist was just, So, but I think he was in his 90s.
Yeah, he lived
a
alone.
full life though. He definitely lived a full life.
I saw him and Harry Belafonte 12, 15 years ago give a lecture at NYU.
Oh wow!
Which was just one of the highlights for me of my life. Just the level of that consciousness and experience, and to be able to be that much in touch with the everyday man, even after they've led a life of celebrity and that level of success. Like they always stayed with the people. Remarkable, man.
That's special, man.
Yeah.
That's a rarity. I mean, a lot of people it's come like phased though. Like I don't know. It's like
it's wild because it's like, yo, you heard of Terrace Martin?
No.
So you heard of Terrace Martin before?
Yeah.
So
on the Ninth Wonder shits.
Yeah, well, I don't know what he's on. All I know is I had this song with Terrace Martin like 5 years ago, and it was him and Kendrick, and it was dope. Right. And I listened to it a million times. I always knew who he was. I'm like, right, he's a West Coast rapping cat. Ain't
he the trumpet player or the something player?
He's an alto saxophonist.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Somehow I came across I ended up coming across his album, one of his albums, and I had no idea that this motherfucker was a saxophonist. Right.
Wow. Yeah.
That fucking album is amazing.
What's
right?
his name?
Terrace Martin.
Okay.
Right. Now the thing is, the whole time, like, I know him because you see him, he hang with gangsters. Mm-hmm. He hang with thugs and gangsters. Like, I would never expect his album to sound like a fucking jazz album. It was amazing. Yeah. And it just had me thinking about how it's kind of like what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got these cats that, I mean, we all come up in the same communities pretty much. Especially when you come up in a black community, you got these cats who come up in community we don't have. So we pretty much have hip hop in our generation. But then you got people like my pops was a huge musician. There's a lot of other cats I know my age or whatever. Yeah. You got people who have background knowledge of things and talents and shit that you just never know what people have and what they do. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it just, and that right there just alone, just the last few days going through that, it was just an amazing journey going through all of this beautiful music. You know what I'm saying? Between
what influence did you hear in his sound?
Man, everything West Coast.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? DJ Quick
on jazz records.
I mean, well, it was. Oh man, it was kind of like. Man, I don't even know how to. You know Robert Glasper?
Yeah, of course.
So he got a ton of tracks with Robert Glasper.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's just kind of like, it's like West Coast. It's like jazzy West Coast. Mm-hmm. You know how the New York hip hop is? You got that Q-tip sound.
Yeah.
That jazz. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the Diddy sound, but it's New York.
Yeah.
And you got the. You know what I'm saying? So.
You could hear the variations.
Right, like, okay, so now with him, it's almost like a DJ Quick sound with like a West Coast sound with jazz to it.
That's ill.
Versus like, it's just amazing.
Yeah, he was heavily involved in the development of Kendrick Lamar's critically acclaimed "To Pimp a Butterfly."
Okay.
Yeah, he played in most of the track. Yeah,
we was just talking about.
He's amazing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But he's a nigga. Like I knew him for years. I had no idea he was that good at the saxophone.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying. And now I'm just like it's just people. All you came up in the church.
Yeah.
Heavy in the church.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I've always was always able to see that. The most talented musicians, the black musicians, come out of the church. They come through the church.
Yeah,
that's where they get their hands on those instruments. That's where they get the opportunity to get on the microphone.
That's right.
And be a part of something.
That's
and
right.
They grow up like that. Like the most talented. And it's the people you would never guess.
Right.
Like in the industry, the most, you know what I'm saying? The most talented people. And they'd be like, oh yeah, I came up in the church. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that is one of the most common things. You know what I'm saying? And I just, man.
Yeah, that was definitely my experience, man. Like, I started singing when I was 4 in the church. I started soloing when I was 4 in the church.
It's amazing.
And I remember the sisters in the church. Great. You know, they talk to you. They talk to you during the service. Go ahead, baby. Take your time, baby. Yeah. Praise God. Baby.
And I've been to church. I've seen it, but I didn't. I didn't grow up in the church. I grew up going to church with Grams here and there.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But I didn't grow up in the church, man.
Yeah.
And I was always a music head, man. That would have been a blessing to be able to grow up around something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know, I can relate to that, man. It's just to see the power, the spirit of music. I think I understood the spirit of music before I knew anything else about it. I understood the spirit because I would see it at work. I would see it. I would always, in many cultures, music is associated with religion or spirituality or dancing in the same way, right? For most cultures throughout the world, and so. it's not so much like that, obviously, in our popular culture, but man, all throughout the world, it's a direct
That's important.
connection.
That's why I feel like our pop culture probably lacks a lot. You know what I mean? The spirit of the music, and that's.
But
great.
have you heard recently? There seems to be a trend. Like this, a lot of pop stars singing like gospel. Like they have like choirs in the background. Like what's that new Kesha song got one.
Yeah. Eminem and Beyonce.
Beyonce, like did like this whole like kind of revival, and it's a trend. Like it'll stop.
Sam
you know
Smith.
What I mean?
Put
Sam Smith. That was the other one. Thank you. That's the other one.
It kind of started with.
I think it's something that all
Kanye.
people like. You can't help get chills like when you hear like sometimes on certain records when you hear a choir come in.
But then it makes me like question the intent.
Right,
the track, like
the integrity of the work,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
I think in Kesha's example, because she went through some shit, so it's like I actually get it. But then it was just like I don't know, just the timing of it all. But it makes me think conspiracy theory.
That's just human nature, conspiracy theory.
Are they trying to like give us a false kind of like direction? I don't know.
That's important though. I mean, I grew up in a Irish, Italian, white ass Catholic church, but I remember this one girl could sing her ass off.
Yeah.
And like she was a beast. Like she used to sing for like WB Network and shit like that. And like when she was in the church, she wouldn't show up like every weekend. Like she would only be there like sometimes like singing. And my mom like would just be like, "Yo, that girl's amazing." Like, and then like, "Hey, that girl sounds like Whitney Houston." If you had a good voice and you were a female, mom was like, "Wow, you're like Whitney Houston." Yeah. But she was just a beast, and it did sound like I don't know. There was something about sitting there in church and just listening to her and just kill it. And I was just like, wow, this is intense.
Yeah.
For me, I always look at it as a privilege whenever I hear gospel music or, black music that's rooted in that tradition. Because, we weren't allowed to perform our own music. You know what I'm saying? Like when you take it back to enslavement and stuff. And so, like, I sing a lot of spirituals in my concerts. Like, it's really important for me to do that, too, because... Like that was like forbidden music. We had to keep that to ourselves. It was like work song. We could sing work songs, but we couldn't sing about God. You know what I'm saying? And or they wouldn't let us have instruments. You know what I'm saying? So we could sing a cappella. You know what I'm saying? But so I think it's important wherever to preserve that. And I think as much as we can, we should. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for me, I think it's important. And I don't think it's like, like. Appropriation, any of that. Like I don't think it's that. I don't look at it as that. I don't look at it. I don't think really music has.
Once you get into the era we're in now, like especially past once you're in the 2000s, new millennium, it's just like so many things fused that it's hard to point a finger here or there. Like because we're all inspired from different things in different places. Like I grew up listening to rock and roll. My favorite song was Johnny B. Good. I didn't know it was a black guy playing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's Chuck Berry.
Right.
And then I remember you were at my house. It was funny. We had this conversation, and Bobby Caldwell was singing a song. I had just found this out.
Yeah.
And this was crazy. This was a couple years ago.
Oh, you mean like on the BET Awards, huh?
No.
What was it? Was award?
We killed it on the BET Awards.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. But this was a couple years ago, and I was just listening to his shit and looking him up and whatnot. And I saw recently he was trending on Twitter because people had just figured it out again that he was white. And I was like, I just figured it out. I don't know. It was just I was listening to Reggie. I was like, yo, you know Bobby Caldwell is white? And he was like, and it's
crazy. Because I remember that. Everybody was flipping.
Yeah.
It's like half the world didn't know Bobby Caldwell was white.
Yo, but then you look at his album covers and they didn't have his pictures on them.
Well, they did that for a reason.
Oh, that's why.
The same shit they did with Tina Marie at first.
Yeah, I was going to say, you marketed to that.
Because
Tina Marie is white?
Yeah. Come on. What do you think she was black?
Yeah, man.
That's funny.
You know what I mean? It's just like the Chuck Berry thing is like I didn't know he was black. It's just my favorite song. Like I think but those are old examples. I'm talking about now, like modern day. It's just especially with everyone. Yo, when I grew up, I was like being white rapping was like a thing, bro.
Yeah.
Like that was a thing.
Yeah.
And the internet destroyed that completely. You know what I mean? It was just like. When I showed up, anytime I rap, like if I was in a cypher, like even growing up, I was 13, 14. If I was rapping at Orchard Beach, I was rapping around all these random places I was rapping at.
Yeah.
And a lot of times associated with basketball and shit, and people would just be like, oh, like it was a thing. And then like internet came out, and I remember feeling like, damn, I didn't know so many white kids would rap, like, and also looking and seeing like a lot of white kids started rapping because they saw other white kids rapping online, and they were like, "Oh, it's more acceptable now." Not only is it more acceptable, it's just they have more confidence doing it. And then it was like, and they're doing it, and a lot of kids were just doing it from their laptop or uploading, so it wasn't like that personal thing, like, you gotta walk in that studio and rap in front of people. You gotta walk into that cypher and rap in front of people. And so I feel like that kind of, like, just everything with the internet has just molded and meshed so many things that I just think music is music, and it's just, you know.
It's just,
like, who knows where it's gonna be in the year 3000. You know?
Yeah. Because really, if you think about it, music, as we know, is only 100 years old or whatever. Because rock and roll from 50s and 60s and stuff like that. Like the pillars of music, rock, R&B, and now in the 2000s was when it first started to fuse with Limp Bizkit and stuff like that. And now we have
the Linkin Park Jay-Z album.
Yeah, Linkin Park Jay-Z album, right? And Danger Mouse, his Grey album, stuff like that. I mean, I was really musically important as far as the growth and evolution of all of this shit. You know what I mean? Just for us to have our ears ready. Because it's interesting, the new Neptunes album is garbage. And it's not garbage because they're garbage. It's garbage because they created the sound. Because of them, they created the sound that everyone is doing right now. So now their album doesn't do what the original album did, which is different, break ground.
Yo, that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
I just listened to that shit yesterday. I got 5 or 6 songs in, and I was like, is this shit trash on my butt? Like, I literally checked the I checked
I
the
listened to
chord.
it once through. I didn't play it again.
Yeah,
I checked the chord because I thought I wasn't hearing the chords.
Wow.
I'm like, yo, where's the melodies and is my wires? I literally went to the speaker and
Just shaking it
and
around.
shake, like, am I out? Like, where the fuck is this sound? Yo, oh man, that's crazy. That shit is, I just listened, it was 2 days ago. And I said to say, this shit is trash.
It's fucking trash.
Yo, but that's why artists stop coming out with albums, man. Because, you got to compete against yourself. That must be hard.
Especially
It's nothing like a good album, son.
Yeah.
Nothing like a, to this day.
Especially if you take a lot of time off, you kind of, you get put in a tough territory.
Yeah,
because you know what I mean? People expecting you to deliver something different.
Right.
Whereas if you just kept giving them that same sound year by year, people be like, oh yeah, this is that shit.
Yeah, that's what he does.
They coming with it now. Yo, nowadays, man, when the albums are good, they're real good. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these albums over these last few years have been, to me, short of not man, what am I trying to say? I wouldn't say for the most part, kind of amazing. You know what I'm saying? There's certain albums, dog. There's certain albums that have come out in the last few years that have been so good. You know what I'm saying? Like To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah,
I mean, that's amazing quality.
Album, R&B album that I just
JT.
No.
I heard that was not a good album.
His country.
They dropped?
Country
Supply.
Yeah,
well, I know that track Supplies is horrible.
The last one that he came out with.
No, you guys know Sir.
I keep hearing about Sir.
Yeah, Reggie, you heard about Sir?
Nah.
I keep hearing about Sir.
It's good.
You know what was a good album, man? These albums have been great, man. Fucking Freddie Gibbs and Madlib album.
Yeah.
Which one? The one that came out 3-4 years ago?
It was 2-3 years.
No, there's a new one. No,
the new one with him is a new one with him and Madlib?
Because remember, he was going back
with the one with
Deeper
him
on it.
Right now, I feel like right around that time, even some of these mixtapes have been some of the greatest albums of the last decade.
You heard Wayne?
Section 8.
You heard Wayne's new
You know what I'm saying? Shit like that.
Yo, he snapped on that.
He got a new mixtape.
You guys hear Dedication 6?
Nah, I heard it's crazy, though.
Yo, he snapped.
Yeah?
I was like, wow.
Yeah, he did it.
Yeah, but after all that, now this is everybody want to push toward this single shit.
Yeah.
What, the Dedication?
Yeah,
Like a week ago, right?
Really? Yeah.
Like last week.
2-3 weeks ago.
Remember when Freddie Gibbs was going back and forth with Logic over the cover?
That sounds
yes,
like a whack beef
yes,
right there.
Yes.
I don't want to see Freddie Gibbs go at Logic. That's just too different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's like Mike Tyson,
Fighting,
talking shit with Macaulay Culkin or something. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit don't make sense, right?
Oh man.
But
Damn.
Isaiah Rashad.
Yeah,
He put something out new? Or not?
They said he's working on this shit now, but that album, this mixtape album, I say right around that time, man. Right around that time and forward, the album's been great.
Yeah.
I wish we
TDE is
could go
touring,
back
right?
to that.
TDE
Yeah, the
is
whole
touring?
group, everybody except
Yeah.
for Isaiah Rashad.
Oh, really?
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
He's that's why I know he's
They're
working on
coming
an
to New
album. That's
York
what they
soon.
said.
So all of them are
May.
on it? Absol,
All
Schoolboy,
Kendrick,
J.
all
Rock.
of them.
Yeah, all of
SZA.
them. SZA. Yeah, they're all on it.
All of them.
That's a big tour.
Except for Isaiah.
I saw that Eminem was at Irving Plaza the other night, right?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, on Friday.
I had no idea.
But you had to like have like a special like city card, and then like you got into a raffle.
I'm
and
so
then,
sick of that
like,
bullshit, man.
It was like
Fuck
levels. It was
that.
like 3 or 4 levels you had to get through.
May
It's
29th
ridiculous, man.
at the Garden.
What did-
and May
what did he
30th
perform?
At Jones Beach.
I think he performed his new album.
Has anybody heard that? I keep hearing this album is trash. It's the first Eminem album I've not ever, not listened to
It's
so far.
it's
not
out?
good.
It's got some bangers, but
not
I mean it's
good,
got
yeah.
some,
Yeah, I
some
don't know.
skippable.
I was walking around the grocery store for like an hour listening to it because I was in the grocery store and I was like, nah, I'm done. Don't want to hear it again. And I love
I get like
Eminem.
that with a lot of albums.
And I love
Gypsy's
Eminem.
standing by it. I respect
you know,
Gyps. I
but
respect-
But music is
honestly, I don't
subjective.
remember the last time I
Everyone likes
listened
what
to
they like. That's why like music is like subjective. Like you like what you like. You know what I mean?
That's everything. Shit, man.
Like, cause people like if you say like I didn't like Eminem's album, people like assume you're a hater or something. It's just like
I'm
don't
sick of
like
that
it.
shit, man. I'm so sick of that
You
shit.
can't be honest.
You can't be honest
It's-
about anything.
Who the fuck cares?
Can't have a conversation.
Let's play. Let's play. Reggie, it's cool if we play that joint when you're on the rooftop with your cousin when you're rapping.
88 shit. Yeah. Let's do it.
Do you have any of the new shit that's coming out? Like any tracks that are done?
I can play you.
Or is that like secret Illuminati? You gotta have the key to listen to that.
Yo, let me find some. I got some.
Daddy came feeling good like I'm James. Walking in the rain with that orange juice, Jones Coast spending on my chain. White lights, pretty James, they be on my tip. Been working out my thing, got an awesome grip. When I'm shooting the gift, from a spark the pip and awesomeness. I burn everything and it's so rare that you see one gifted in my fashion. Swagging, flashing, super rapping, money, shows, diamonds, gold. All around the globe with a bad centerfold. Y'all rhymes too slow for the dames I work with. All self-made on a mean circumference. I run shit every time the drums hit. Boom, bit, party and bullshit. What up, big? Yeah, just working my thing, yeah. Pretty girls, just work your thing, yeah. Baby girl, what you say now. Work it out, yeah. Just working my thing, yeah. Pretty girls, just work your thing, yeah. Baby girl, what you say now. Work it out, yeah. Coops, juice, new suits, art rap 1-2 with the lose, cool, cash rules, pool interviews, can't tell me nothing, motherfucker, who are you? My thing is all act as cool as a classic, better than you can ever imagine. They let it shimmy for me like I'm old dirty bastard. Performances that rival cats on the Put it up now. Sick on a mattress, malpractice, my tactics is above average, you gotta have it. Savage, heartless, word to darkness, murder out your man, however nice regardless, and make it look easy. Who wouldn't wanna be me, writing rhymes like a PD while I'm steaming on my hemi. Crow facts, how I'm killing a throwback, control rap every time I hold that. Work, just work my thing, yeah. Pretty girls, just work your thing, yeah. Baby girl, what you say now. Work it out, just working my thing, yeah. Pretty girls, just work your thing, yeah. T-Storm, just work your thing, yeah. Work it out, T-Storm. Yeah, just work. Give it up, T-Storm, give it up, yeah. Wanna rock, wanna toast. On a good night, I might do both. Sing something, make her feel wonderful. When we awoke, champagne, no clothes. Pose, vote, go, get low. Work out your thing, make it feel beautiful, love. Butterfly for a smooth criminal, but the name that you know, I'm a bad baritone girlfriend. You are rocking with the best. Think G-Rap, Lord Finesse, and yes, I'm fresh. This is something to live with. Wear out your girl, give your sister the business. Let them both sleep, sweet dreams and rhythmics. Antithesis of whackness, what this is. And I'm doing it well. Leader of the new school, it ain't hard to tell. Come on, work. Just working my thing, yeah. Come on. Pretty girls, just work your thing, yeah. Baby girl, what you say now. Work it out now. Just work. Just working my thing, yeah. Pretty girl, just work your thing, yeah. Baby girl, what you say now. Work it out now. Yeah. Can I get some? Yeah. We're gonna bring it back now. 1. Yeah, work it out. Thank you. T-Storm, ladies and gentlemen.
Shit's dope, bro.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, that
Thank
was
you,
really
brother.
dope.
Thank you, brother. Yo, man, that was a good 6, 7, 8 years ago. Shout out to my man Suits on the beat, DJ T Storm on the wheels. Yeah, man, that was a good. You know, I'm a Kane head and a Black Thought head. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's who and Ghost.
You
those
could
are like
tell
my 3
too.
biggest influences.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kenny's always trying to get me to rhyme like them. Like, yo, do a record like that.
Yo, you should do a Black Thought record.
Yo, do that. Yo, you remember when
What'd you think when you heard the freestyle on Flex? You had to have heard it. You hear it?
Nah.
You haven't heard the 10-minute freestyle?
I heard about it. I haven't heard it yet. Y'all been in like a
that shit was
cocoon.
crazy.
Yeah.
My man,
like
I ain't
vintage
talked to my
stuff.
man in like 3 years. This nigga called me from Cali. Like, yo, nigga, everybody good? What happened? Niggas is all right? What? Yo, you heard Black Thought? I was like, yo, nigga, you know I got a daughter now, right?
All right, we got a call.
Oh man.
Yo, is this Black Thought?
Word, right?
Call in. What's up? You gone?
Yo, are you Illuminati?
Gone.
Oh, you're definitely
gone.
going.
We gone.
You are definitely going.
What's up, bro?
Yo, I have the most ridiculous gone question of the day.
Shoot.
So
This is Mike Mack.
I think it's South Africa, right? They're about to literally run out of water
Wow.
in like a couple of days or like a week.
What?
What the hell do you do when that
Oh,
happens?
I heard,
Right? Like
right.
you're just waiting for it to rain and it never rains, and then you run out.
That's
like-
intense.
Damn. I didn't hear about that.
South,
Like you just
South
take a bath
Africa
with
is
Poland
running out
spring
of
bottles,
water?
Like
What are they? Flint, Michigan?
You just threw me for a fucking loop right there, Mike.
I don't even.
Yeah.
Wait.
you know, we should all, I mean, like, and you know what people are going to be doing, right? They're going to be in the States saying, I'll sell you Poland Spring for $50 a bottle, right? Send it down there and all this crazy stuff. Like, but in all honesty, like, if you
Nah,
have
we
a
gotta-
drought
where's
like
the
that
UN's
in a
gotta step
major
in on
modern
this?
city, like, what do you do?
It says here, in less than 3 months, a major international city will likely run out of water. This is CNN. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yo, nobody's talking about that.
In less
Cape
than
Town.
3?
I don't know, man. I just...
Wasn't California supposed to run out of water?
How do you run out of water? Yeah, how the fuck do you run out of
Water, that's what
water?
I'm saying,
How
man.
the fuck do you run out of water? It does not make sense.
Well, if it doesn't rain, it doesn't
It
rain.
doesn't
How
make
mu-
Are they running
sense.
out of water or like...
If all the water that was there
sanitary water?
has since condensed, then there will be more water. It is as simple as I just don't understand it. How do you run out of water? How do you convince people that they will be out of water?
Oh, you can't. You can't convince people that. I mean, please.
It's ridiculous.
People were still.
However, I will
watering their
definitely get a
lawns
couple
in
packs of them
California.
fucking Poland Spring and make some paper right now. This is
It might be worth the flight.
yo, son. I wouldn't even fly. I ship that shit out there right on Amazon, son. I'm not playing, so I fly a kite of water to fucking South Africa so quick, nigga.
Yo,
Yeah.
thanks for calling in, man. Yo, Mike, you have a solution or anything?
I don't know,
Sound like
man.
you just drank some
Like,
water right there.
You called the right
the fire
place.
hydrant
As he's drinking his water, as he's drinking his
in
cold
the front
ass.
yard. Like it's South Import some quarter waters from the bodegas in New York. I don't know.
Man, that is ridiculous, man. I think South Africa will be fine. Let's revisit this pretty soon. Man.
Yeah.
But this is not like
In
some
less than 3
random
minutes.
4 months.
Yeah,
It's like a major country in 2018 running out of water. Like, how did
Dog.
that even happen?
How? I guess they figured out. Holy shit, we don't have rain coming here till August.
Let's see.
How do you get
How
to
do
that
they? How
point,
do they
though?
know that it won't rain in 3 months? How do they fit? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yo, Mike, thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate the call.
All right,
Thank you,
man.
Mike.
Yep, guys, thanks.
peace.
Yeah. Stay gone.
Yo, he's gone.
Sorry, I'm sorry, guys. I just
He wasn't listening to the show at all. He's just like, fuck it. I got this number. I'm going to call right now.
Right.
Say it.
I got some shit I want to
Yo,
say.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, but Africa, son. Like, they're out of water.
People do that sometimes. Yo, what y'all talking about right now?
I did that a
But
few
that's-
times.
that's-
Yeah.
That's cool.
What we talking about? But he's a host, though.
Stay lit.
He didn't make the show one time and called up. He's like, yo, what's going on, fellas? We're like, what's good? He's like, no, yo, what we talking about right now? Yeah, like, damn, bro. We used to be watching the show.
Fuck it. Let's call these niggas. We got a guest? Who up there? Yeah. Yo, peace.
Oh, man.
That was the best.
Can't make that
So,
shit.
Reggie, do you ever do any busking, like just street performance and stuff like that?
Street performance?
Yeah.
Nah.
Because I know, like, some people, like, some people like, oh, it's street performing. Like, why would I do that? Because, like, obviously you're working on major fucking projects. You know what I mean? But like, some people just like love the art form and just like going out just with their guitar or whatever.
But I do a lot of I've done a lot of nursing home concerts.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah, because you do a very different, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I would think maybe there'd be unconventional venues.
Absolutely.
What's the most unconventional venue like you've maybe performed at?
You performed at my crib.
Oh yeah.
I've seen that.
That's unconventional.
I've been there for that.
I did a salon. I did a salon series in like people's houses, which that's dope shit, man.
Yeah.
It was it wasn't a holiday, or was it your birthday?
It might have been one of my birthdays or something.
Well, your birthday is like the holidays, right?
Bro,
I don't know when it was.
I remember, yeah, it being cold.
Yo, anytime I can rap in front of old people, that shit is dope for me. Like, because there's some pieces I do, some Duke Ellington pieces, and Ellington was like super ahead of his time. He was writing raps in the '70s. He wrote like this song series called Sacred Concerts, and he combined classical, jazz, and he wrote raps. And I wrote my own shit, and I remember being in Florida, in St. Augustine, Florida. This is like 2000. And it was all, all retirees down there laid up. We at the beach, and I'm rapping, and they like clap. It's like Cocoon and shit. Like they like
Cocoon. Wow, that's a throwback.
Dope. For me, that's always a fly experience. But yeah, man, a lot of weddings. You know what I mean?
That's dope.
A lot of I'm a teacher also, so I like to perform for students and encourage them to perform.
So do you incorporate some of your performance in your teaching at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope.
I like to kind of try to come from like a teaching artist perspective. You know what I'm saying? And like have my classroom be an extension of.
Wouldn't that be dope if like that was a requirement for teachers to be like artists, performing artists?
That would be dope.
Man, I want to find my voice. Like I want to sing.
Yo, let's
I was
go.
gonna ask you. I was thinking about that when you were talking about taking singing lessons because, like, not that I want to sing, but it'd be pretty cool.
You should sing, Frank.
If I could, I would. But that's what I'm getting at. Because I can't. I've tried. Literally. Like, I'm very honest with myself. Even in the shower, I suck.
Yeah.
But like, can people learn how to not sing like how you sing or sing well, like to get paid to sing? But can you? Really
is there hope for Frank?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's hope for Frank. There's hope.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do think cause
to an extent.
Can you turn water into wine?
Yeah.
No, but to an extent.
I can keep the party going.
I guarantee you, I could definitely teach someone how to make a beat.
That's right.
Easily.
Yeah.
Especially with the DAWs now, Logic or Fruity Loops, it's fucking easy. Mm-hmm. It's basically right there for you.
Right. Yeah, vocals teaching it's a technique.
Breathing.
You know what I mean?
Things.
So it's breathing, it's placement, it's vowels. It's all about vowels. Like a lot of times we get caught up in like, the consonants, but you sing on your vowels. So if you learn how to use your airflow through these very specific vowels, it's like balance, man. You know what I mean? It's a balance.
Breathing is very important.
Yeah, you can definitely work on it. I've had several students who I didn't think. I'll teach you. You gonna pay me?
Look, you're not gonna make it.
A lot, father. When I was
You're not
growing
gonna make
up,
it into play. Right?
when I was coming up, my father is an instrumentalist. You know what I'm saying?
What do you play?
He's mainly a funk guitarist. You know what I'm saying? Well, guitarist, period. But he was youthful in the funk era. You know what I'm saying? And he played other shit too. And a lot of times he used to tell me, "Yo, man, sing something," and he'd be playing. And I remember one time I can't sing, and he told me that all men can sing, right? And he said, "Yo, everyone can sing. Don't ever let me hear you say no shit like that. All men and women, everyone can sing."
How
right?
old were you?
It wasn't too young. I might have been 9 or 8.
But do you
something
think
like
that he
right?
was telling you that just so you could be like, he can instill that in you?
No. I think that he was telling me that because he's right. Like, for instance, if you would have heard Dizzy Gillespie talking,
Right.
you know,
Right.
what you would have said, this motherfucker can sing. You know what I'm saying? You get what you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to find your voice. You have to find, like James Brown. He don't really sing. He belt.
Right.
He belts. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, ha. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, did you have to find?
People say. I don't know what the fuck James saying.
Yeah, but
yeah, and I think some of the more unique voices, some of the more successful voices haven't been the best singers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like by far. You look like Nina Simone. She was not a singer, but she's one of our, you know, our national treasures.
That's true.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot, like to your point.
Or the best singers or the best voices, you mean, or what? Or some of the best voices aren't the best singers, or some of the best singers don't have the best voices.
Yeah, so we're talking about voice, right? Yeah, because you talk about, so it's not always about the purity of the sound and all that stuff. It's a difference between a vocal and a singer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a singer, a singer knows how to take a spirit and communicate that spirit, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what we talk about when we talk about Frank, you know, Sinatra, and you know, a lot of these artists who I think who are out today, all these new guys, you know what I'm saying?
They don't sing.
But they do something that's different than they're getting it off. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is,
Chris Brown
doing.
can sing.
Well,
you know what? This is the thing, man.
Chris Brown can sing.
What I've always known, like for instance, the difference between young Michael Jackson and older Michael Jackson. Young Mike would sing out. He could sing. His voice was here. You could, you know what I'm saying? And the old Mike was like,
yeah.
It was here.
He got rid of his nose.
This like
That's why he sound extra nasal.
like the difference between
the nasal passage.
He had a deviated septum.
Like Beyonce, she sings out.
Yeah.
Even Rihanna don't sing out.
Yeah.
I didn't know Rihanna could sing out until she dropped that song that came out like a year or two ago. It was like a doo-wop-ish.
Remember
that? It was like that was the first time I actually heard Rihanna sing.
Oh yeah.
You know what
I didn't even know that was her for like a while.
Right? It's almost like
I just found out.
Shit.
I know that was her.
Yeah.
Just found out.
Nah, you're right, man. You're right. I mean, you look at like an Amy Winehouse. I mean, she could sing. She could sing. But like a lot of that was like styling. You know what I'm saying? Like she was well studied. You know what I'm saying? Like she just knew what she wanted to communicate. You know what I mean? Like I think you're right. I know you're right, man. I know you're right. Some of our best known singers don't have the purest voices, man.
You ever see? You know who's super talented singing and don't really get it off? Gaga.
Oh,
you ever see Gaga is fucking amazing.
She's amazing. She
did
in
real life.
No,
she did the morning show. And you know how like they'll have like an outdoor concert and shit? I had a whole new respect for Gaga. I was like, you really are like a real singer. Like I didn't know.
She went to like
see her play the piano.
And she played piano.
It's amazing.
Bro, she's like a music. She was a music student at NYU, I think.
NYU?
Yeah, she's from New York. She's like Stephanie Germanetti or something like that. Is her real name. She's really like
she's singing, playing piano. There's like YouTube videos of her.
She takes voice lessons every single day.
Every day?
Wow.
Even still.
Right now.
Wow.
You can hear like things change for her like within the last like 3 or 4 years. Like, she sings. Like she can sing with the best of them. You put her on any stage, any Broadway stage, and she's singing with the best of them. She voice lessons every day. You know, she did the album with Tony Bennett.
I was just gonna say that.
You know what I'm saying? Big band. She had to come with that super A+ game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, she did it. She did it. Yeah.
Why do you think then?
They just had some Tony Bennett shit I caught the other night when I was sick, like maybe 2-3 weeks ago. I don't know.
Her biggest songs are like na 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 na.
Right. Those are big records.
But she's also an amazing writer.
She's not really.
She's an amazing writer. Like
she's not really like exploring her vocal.
Because people can sing along to that shit.
Yeah, but say the same thing about Black Eyed Peas. You know how fucking talented they are, instrumentally and rap wise. But listen to their records.
Yeah,
they got new shit out,
and all that bullshit. And all that shit, right? You ever see the Black Eyed Peas first album or any of their videos?
Yeah.
You guys ever seen it? I'm sure y'all have.
Yeah.
Have you?
Karma.
My cousin told me.
Karma. Who said Karma? Yeah.
No, The Black Eyed Peas was basically the Roots.
Yeah.
I know, I heard.
You know, I'm talking.
heard,
The first album is crazy.
And yo, the CD book when you go through it, it's like
a whole different album.
What's that artist that draws like the meticulous inside of the body, like Gray, something Gray? Fuck, he's a painter, but he I'll look it up. Nah, it's just someone. But their CD book, every page, like the front page of it is the three of them standing, and then like the next shot is like, you know, the jackets are off, and then they go all the way down. The last page is their soul, and like I was in college at the time, and I had like really just started like smoking heavy then, and I got to the soul. I dropped the page. I was like, oh shit! Shit fucking blew my mind. I was like, what the fuck? So I'm just saying they were deep artists.
Yeah. They were really
deep.
dope. Like that shit was hard. It was basically live hip hop instruments and straight raw lyrics and a hard drum beats. The whole album. Yeah. The shit was crazy.
Man. Yeah, that was the times though, man. That was like coming off of that neo soul, right in the middle of that. Like,
Mel LaRue.
Yeah,
Mel LaRue.
Yo, man, I got a crush on her to this day.
To this day, right? Yeah. I had to look up her name because I forgot how to spell it. I was like, but it was a good excuse to look.
Dope. But that's girls that, you know, her album's dope, man. Yeah. Mel LaRue. Yo, you know who don't get, you know who I wish I could get on a record, who I really think is one of the dopest for hip hop ever? Fucking Vinny and Mojica.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Where is that voice?
Wow.
Right? And how many tracks and how many times it's like what is where is she?
Yeah.
And where is that voice? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know who Vinny and Mojica is? A lot of people don't. You know who Vinny and Mojica? Okay, you don't? You know Vinny. And you know Vinny? Yeah, you do, son.
All right. Apparently I do.
Okay, I tell you what. Ooh, you know you got it going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got it going on. And on and on and on. Yeah. That's Vinny and Mojica on the Tribe album.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Vinny and Mojica, she's on the Tribe.
On the Tribe album.
The one who be singing on the Tribe album.
Gotcha.
She's on like Most Def shit.
Yeah.
She on Talib shit.
I definitely know
But that's it.
Yo,
Right? Where is Vinny and Mojica?
Yeah.
Because she's dope. She's like
dope.
part of that sound.
I always wonder where the chick in the background of Thuggish Ruggish Bone, where she go from?
Yo, is it me or do every LA chick sing like that?
Yo. Hilarious.
Yeah, you don't sound like that, right?
Overdoing it. Or let's play. You want to play this? Keep on stepping.
Yeah. If we can, man, that's beautiful. So this is me and my guy, Roswell Rudd. God bless him. And a beautiful record featuring Matthew Fink on guitar, Roswell Rudd on trombone.
This is one of the new ones.
Yeah, Vito D'Itali on
This is the one you produced for him, right?
Yeah, I produced this record for Raz. Yeah.
You produced this? Yeah.
Yeah, there's no roads on this. There's no roads on this though. But yo, it's funny that you said that because that's what I wanted to put on them. You know what I'm saying? I wanted that vibe.
The keys that was playing a second ago.
Yeah, that's just.
I hear the piano.
Yeah, it's just piano.
Regular piano.
Yeah, regular piano. Yeah.
Is that Rhodes?
No, yeah, but it's not a Rhodes on it.
I
Yeah.
only heard the piano.
That's dope that you said that because I wanted to put a Rhodes on this record and then I kind of didn't feel like
I guess that's what I was kind of feeling and when I heard, you know what I mean?
How new is this track? How new is this track?
Brand new.
Brand new. Okay.
Yeah, this is
Timeless.
It's a brand. We debuted it at Jazz at Lincoln Center in November.
This is beautiful.
And we broke it there, and this will be released later on this year. This was Roswell's final work.
Wow, you making music like this, brother?
Yeah.
Golly.
Thank you, brother. Yo, I wanted to come with like a Grover Mr. Magic vibe. I wanted something that felt like that. And I wanted a cipher on a jazz record. Everybody gets a 16. You know what I'm saying?
So what about that bass back there? What is that coming from? Are you playing that bass? Or
Yeah.
Guitar? Is that bass guitar?
That's a bass.
That's bass?
Bass guitar. Yep. Beautiful bass player named Jennifer Maidman.
This is all live.
All live. Yeah. Now the drums came. The drums came from a loop. My brother Gritty Tracks on the drums. He's I wanted rap drums on this record. You know what I mean? So that's what it started really with the drums.
Yeah, because it give it that.
Yeah.
You got to make a video for this.
Yeah, we working on it. Yeah. Matter of fact, I got a meeting in Brooklyn. I gotta bounce him over. I got a meeting in Brooklyn for that.
Really?
Yeah, for this project. We're gonna do a documentary and do a video for this record.
Wow, man, I would like to. We gotta chop it up after this.
Yeah, definitely, brother.
This shit is fat, though. This shit is dope.
Thank you, brother.
This shit's dope, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, gentlemen.
Put this shit on at the job. No, what are you playing? Oh, yeah, this is my nigga right here. What? Really? Fuck they had him at the job. Like, right. He said his homie did it. Oh, motherfuckers, boy.
Man. So, yeah, man. So that's the new record for that's Roswell Rudd and featuring Matthew Fink and Vito Dieterle, and let's keep on stepping, man. So
that's dope, man. That's dope. We know you gotta keep on stepping. Yo, before you get out of here, you wanna
put all your socials, anything, like plug anything, so when this comes out, people can.
Yeah, that too. Out. But I want to see if you want to spit something.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna ask you this earlier.
Yeah.
Do you freestyle, sing opera?
Kinda. I mean, yeah, kinda.
Cause I gets busy with that.
You do?
I freestyle opera all the time.
Do you? Yo, go ahead.
I don't know what I be doing. I just be, these nuts. Just do some wild shit, get naked and play with her girl. Watch it grow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? No, just say, nah, but you ever play? You ever do that or?
Yeah, we was talking at the beginning of the show. That's kind of how I started, man. Like fucking around on Onyx records and things like that, like singing like hard rap records, but I would like rock them like that. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. I really haven't. I'd like to, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to. But yeah, it's been a while. but what you just did was dope.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah. I definitely got something if you wanna. Oh wow.
Oh, what do you want to do? You want to sing or you want to rap?
I spit. Yeah, I spit.
Oh, you spit? Okay. You want beat or what do you want to do?
That's a good one right there.
All right. Say no more.
Word. Clipped my wings, only then I grew my finest feathers. But I burned them in the sun, trying to fly to heaven. Betrayed by my ambition, delusions of perfection. Another death grows a deeper resentment. Separated from success too many times I mentioned. Forced to acquiesce, assess my intentions. In the lonely hours, only me and my confessions. Acknowledge the missteps in my deepest reflection. Learn to live with the regrets, the unanswered questions. Did I sabotage myself? Could it have been prevented? Is failure just a mirage? Can it be amended? Prayer, supplication to my God for a resurrection. The gift of realization is the highest blessing. A man comes into his truth only when he's tested. The the trials will be my making or my devastation. God bless the work of these hands in the pursuit of greatness. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, that beat's tough. So thank you, brother.
Pursuit of greatness.
Yeah, man, thank you, brother. So, man, I just want to thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, of course, bro. Of course.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to plug, like website or you have social media? You don't. Really?
I'm not really up on it yet, man. I'm still like a holdout. But yeah, I think I look a little foolish, not having it. But all of it up. The site is reggiebennett.com. It'll be it's got kind of old material on it, but I'll check back in, man. Maybe one time I can come back through and some updated material and things, man, closer to release dates and stuff.
Yeah. You said you was gonna release your joint in about 6 months, huh?
Yeah.
You might be perfect, man. Bring some folk in with you.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful, man. We could do some in-studio performances and stuff. That'd be gorgeous. Yeah. So, thank you, gentlemen.
Of course, bro. Yo, thank you for coming on, man.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Pleasure to have you.
Cool. Much love.
And as always, everyone that tuned in, thank you very much. And the people that are going to tune in for the rest of the week and for the rest of the month and the rest of the year, we're much appreciated. As always, we go.